Hey guys, Mary, and welcome back to Study Journey. Welcome back to the Python series and the Recursion series. So in today's episode, we're going to be using recursion to do the first type of sorting, which is selection sorting. So we're going to be talking about what sorting is, what selection sort is, and also do a practice problem. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So in the previous episode, we learned about recursion and how to use it. So in today's episode, we're going to be starting on the first type of sort method, and it's going to be selection sort. So basically what sort methods are is it's going to sort from a list. So it's out of a list of, for example, numbers. It's going to sort it from the smallest to the largest. And so for the first one, it's going to be selection sort, and this is a type of sorting method. So what is selection sort? It is a comparison sorting algorithm that is used to sort a random list of items in ascending order. So it's going to go from smallest to largest. And it is going to be an algorithm that sorts out the data in an array in ascending order by finding the minimum element. So from this assortment of numbers, it's going to sort it from smallest to the largest. And how it does this is, so here's an example. From this list of numbers, it's going to first find the smallest number, and it's going to swap it with the first index number, which is 29. And then from here, we're just going to leave the first number the same, and we're going to move on to the second number. And then from the rest of these numbers, we're going to find the smallest number and switch it with the second one. And then we're going to do it with the same. We're going to do the same with the third and then the fourth until we get to the last one. And now we can see that it is going to be complete with the smallest in the beginning. So we're going to write code for this in Python, and we're going to do it with recursion. So I'm going to open a text, and it's going to be called sort. I've already imported some things that we need, so you can just copy all of this over. And then the first thing we're going to do is we're going to obviously define the function. So I'm just going to call it selection sort, and it's going to take in one parameter, which is obviously the number list, right? So whatever number list that they give us, we're going to sort it. But before we're going to write the code for this, so the first code we need to write is how to find the smallest number in the numbered list. As we can see here, we find the smallest number and then we swap it with the first index, the second index, etc. So how do we know which one is the smallest number? Well, we had to write code for that first. So I'm going to define a function called find smallest, which is going to find the smallest number from the number list. And it's going to have a beginning index and then an ending index. So first we're going to set the smallest index equal to the beginning index. And for every index in the range from the first index plus 1, so the second index, so beginning index plus 1 to the ending index plus 1. What we mean by this is because indexes start from 0, so for example, this number would have an index of 0 and this will be 1. So if we're trying to say for how many numbers in this list, we can't say from the first index to the last index, because it's going to be, instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, it's going to say 8 numbers because this first index is 0. So it will count as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 instead of 1 through 9. So if we want it to be 1 through 9, then we have to actually say the first index plus 1, and that will tell us what it is. So for every index in this range, the first index to the last index, if the index, so in the number list, in this list, if the index is less than the smallest index, then we're going to switch the smallest index to be that index. So basically this is saying whatever index this is. So for example, if it was like the third index, if that number was smaller than the first number, then we're going to switch it with the first number. And then after this, we can just return the smallest index. So now that we know how to find the smallest number from a number list, we can actually write the code for selection sort. I'm actually going to write a helper, so I'm just going to name it selection sort helper. Just to make it more clear, so it's going to be the number list is going to take in the beginning index and also the ending index. So basically, we're going to be moving it along the way. So as we can see, this is the beginning index, and then this is the ending index. Whenever we swap it once, we're going to move the index up one. And then when it goes to the last one, we're going to stop. So we had to write the code for that. So when the ending index is equal to the beginning index, meaning it has moved all the way to the end of the line, then we're just going to return the number list because we are done sorting. We're going to first of all find the smallest index. So how we find the smallest index is we're going to call find smallest, because this is what we define to help us find the smallest index. And from the number list, we're going to use the beginning index and the ending index to find it. Now we can actually sort the list. So in the number list, we know that there's going to be a beginning index, right? What it starts with. And then there's obviously going to be the smallest index, the index of the smallest number. So we have these two numbers, but what we want to do is actually switch these. So the beginning index, we're going to switch it with the smallest, the beginning number, we're going to switch it with the smallest number. So we're just going to swap the order of these. So it's going to be smallest index and then the beginning index, or the number of the beginning index. And then we're going to call this function again because this is what recursion is. We're using the function that we are defining within itself. Why we're doing this is because after we sort it once, we're going to do it again, except this time the beginning index is not going to be the first index, but rather the beginning index plus 1. So we're going to keep it moving. So after this, we're going to call selection sort helper. But instead of saying beginning index, it's going to be beginning index plus 1 because we want to keep it moving until the ending index. And then after this, we're just going to return the number list. Now, basically what this code says right here is from the selection sort helper, we can see, so we switch the number with the smallest number with the beginning number. And then we call selection sort helper again, but then we add 1 to the index, so we're keeping it moving forward. And then after it's done, so after the beginning index is equal to the ending index, then we're just going to return the numbered list. And then for the selection sort, all we have to do is call this helper function right here. Except the beginning index is going to be 0, and then the ending index is going to be the length of the list but we had a -1 because remember, since indices start at 0, it's going to be 1 less for the last number. Okay, so make sure to return the selection sort, and then when we go to our terminal, we can do the Python 3 sort.py, and then as we can see, it sorts the list. So here was original list, and then it sorts it based off of this. And so that is how we use selection sort.